Y News with Angelo Castro III, William Theo, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. Province-bound passengers continue to grow in number at the Araneta Bus Terminal. Here's why from Rogel Adora.
Thousands of passengers continue to surge in Araneta Bus Terminal to go to their provinces. Some of them have not yet booked and are still trying to buy tickets. Delays on the arrival of buses from the provinces are also a problem that in turn affected the trips departing the Araneta Bus Terminal. Security is also on heightened alert inside the bus terminal.
Makikita niyo naman yung mga kapulisan dyan sa area. At the same time, mayroon din tayong ambulansya on standby provided by Barangay Socorro.
A senior citizen complained that the bus terminal does not have a priority lane for them.
Kami mga senior citizen, medyo i-assist kami kasi nakakahilo. Pagpunta ron dahil sulo ka, pwede ka anya doon na eh. Pagpunta mo ron mismo sa nagtitikit sa bus, punta ka sa opisina o pailan babalik-balik na ako.
The Araneta Bus Station Administration, however, says they prioritize senior citizen.
We have to also consider na marami rin nag-demand for them to be given priority dahil sa karamihan ay nagcha-chance passenger na.
Legazpi also reminds the public for a worry-free trip to the provinces.
Kung meron na silang petsa in mind na kanilang ibig iuwi, ay mangyari ibili na nila ng ticket ahead of time, maybe a week or 2 weeks before.
Rogel Adora, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The number of firecracker-related injuries in the country has already climbed to 42 since the 21st of December. 26 of the victims sustained injuries due to piccolo, 4 were due to boga, while 3 sustained injuries due to whistle bomb and other prohibited firecrackers. 24 of the victims are from the National Capital Region or NCR. The Department of Health is hoping the number will not further rise in the coming days.
Tawan na maaring magkaroon na epekto sa kanilang well-being. So sana maging aral ito at maging leksyon din ito sa mga iba pa na nag-a-attempt pang gumamit ng mga illegal na paputok.
DOH also warns of imposing penalties to those who would violate the firecracker ban. The Philippine National Police warns to arrest individuals caught using fireworks outside of the designated firecracker zones. Here's why from Lea Ilagan.
Local government units or LGUs of Metro Manila designate firecrackers and fireworks display areas for the year-end festivities. In Manila, local officials designate 33 areas where residents can use firecrackers. Mandaluyong City has designated 7 firecracker and fireworks display areas, 2 in Marikina City and 1 in San Juan City. Valenzuela City has 8 designated areas, while there is a total ban on firecrackers in several cities like Pasig, Las Piñas, Muntinlupa, and Taguig.
Kung dati by lang yon, yung by grams, by ngayon, in-specify na talaga doon sa EO28 yung mga prohibited firecrackers. Para rin to sa security ng ating mga kababayan or lahat. Safety, security and safety natin lahat. Actually, para at least madali lang natin modified, kumbaga controlled. Nasa controlled area sila. Identified na kagad natin kung saan. Kasi it's mostly it's the LGU who will designate the place.
Based on Executive Order Number 28, its local government units should place on standby emergency and medical staff members and firefighting equipment in areas designated as community fireworks display zones. The designated zones should also be far from school campuses, residential areas, communication and electrical facilities, and gasoline stations. With this, the Philippine National Police or PNP warns to arrest everyone who would violate the said executive order.
May liability din naman talaga and they will be arrested for violating that EO28.
Meanwhile, authorities have arrested 12 individuals for selling prohibited firecrackers. 9 or majority of the arrest came from Region 7, while 1 individual was caught selling prohibited fireworks in the National Capital Region or NCR, Region 1, as well as in ARMM. The police also recorded 8 firecracker-related injuries. 4 of the injuries are from NCR. One was recorded in Region 1, 6, 8, and Cordillera. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Meanwhile, various government agencies together with the Eco Waste Coalition paraded in the streets of Manila today. Here's why from Mai Bermudez.
By launching a parade, the Eco Waste Coalition has called on the public to avoid using fireworks for the coming year. Various government agencies such as the Department of Health, Philippine National Police, Bureau of Fire Protection, and barangay officials joined the group. The group urged the public to use alternative noise-producing tools like pots, ukulele, maracas, tambourine, and other objects that do not contain poisonous chemicals. They also appealed to the public to no longer use pyrotechniques.
Una, kung sobra-sobra yung pailaw, ay talaga namang napakagrabe yung air pollution na nililikha nito.
Kaya papansinin mo yung iba nagre-red eye, no, magkakasipon, biglang uubuhin o kaya mamamalat kahit wala namang infeksyon na mamalat, no? And worse, doon sa mga pasyente natin na may hika na o kaya may COPD at kahit heart disease.
DOH Assistant Secretary Maria Francia Laksamana says there is a need for a more intensified campaign as illegal selling and use of firecrackers are still abound.
Ang DOH kasama din ang PNP at saka ang mga local chief executive, lalo na yung mga barangay captain, yung mga nasa barangay natin. Kasama natin sa nagmo-monitor sa mga maliliit na tindahan na marami pa ring nakakalusot.
Police forces are also on maximum deployment from December 31 to January 1. So far, they are yet to monitor any illegal use of firecrackers or fireworks display.
Tigilan na ang pagbebenta ng illegal na puputok para rin sa mga tao na minsan kasi pagka nagkakasayahan na nakakalimutan na yung security, yung kaligtasan ng iba eh.
Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
In other news, the Bank of the Philippine Islands, or BPI, is currently investigating the controversial 100 peso bill that recently went viral on social media. Pictures posted by netizen Erla Ann show a faceless image of the front part of a 100 peso bill. The netizen claimed she withdrew the bills from a branch of BPI. In a statement, BPI vows to conduct an investigation into the issue and to address the complaint of Ann. The UNTV News has asked for a statement from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas regarding the issue, but the bank has yet to respond to our request.
The supposed face-off between taxi cab driver Virgilio Doctor and the woman who allegedly hurt him during a traffic altercation did not push through. Here's why from Grace Casid.
Cherry Charmaine Interior did not attend today's scheduled hearing at the Land Transportation Office or LTO, where she was supposed to face the taxicab driver she allegedly hurt during a traffic altercation. A witness took videos of the incident and posted it on social media. It immediately went viral. She explains the taxicab driver in the video, Virgilio Doctor, was driving recklessly and tailgating their vehicle. When she confronted the taxicab driver, she claimed Doctor tried to escape and even hit her knees and called her, quote, baliw or a lunatic, end of quote. Interior also denies slapping the taxi driver, claiming she just pointed a finger at him. She argues her reaction to such an incident was normal, especially since she was with her small children.
Nasa lubok kong taxi parang manakit. Baka nabangga lang ng bento ko. Sabi nila po yun, ito masakit pa nga nung nagpanteng na sa tayong na tamaan.
Interior further said she even called the operator of Doctor and the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, but to no avail. She also claimed that the vehicle she was driving at the time was not hers and that she was not aware that its registration has already expired. However, she did not mention in her position paper the apology to the taxi driver she confronted. Interior says she decided to no longer attend the hearing due to the safety and security concerns, noting that many on social media are threatening to hurt her. She asked the LTO to dismiss the complaint filed against her. However, Doctor will still push through the complaints of unjust vexation, malicious mischief, slight physical injuries he filed against the woman.
Kabaro ko, parang ginagano lang, taxi driver porque mahirap na tao, parang naapi-api lang. In behalf of taxi driver, laban namin to.
According to LTO Law Enforcement Service Director Francis Ray Almora, the case is already considered submitted for resolution since Interior failed to attend the hearing.
Pagka nakita po natin, depende sa appreciation po ni Asek Galvante, pwede pong i-suspend, i-revoke yung pong lisensya.
LTO has placed Dr. under physical examination to determine if he can still drive after suffering a mild stroke in 2014. According to the lawyer of the taxi cab, attorney Ariel Inton Jr., the LTO renewed his license in 2015 after passing the agency's physical and medical examination.
And since then, wala naman siyang major accident, wala siyang major na traffic violation until this incident kay Miss Interior.
Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board once again reminds the drivers of public utility vehicles on the importance of road safety. Here's why from Joan Nano.
The series of road accidents involving public utility vehicles have become very disconcerting for the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board. Among these road accidents was the road mishap that happened in Agoo, La Union, where 20 people died, including a 5-month-old baby. Another was the accident in Quezon Province, where a bus fell off a cliff that injured 10 passengers. This prompted the LTFRB to remind the drivers of public utility vehicles on the importance of road safety. The LTFRB warns that drivers and operators who will get involved in any accidents will have their franchises suspended once proven that we're at fault.
The board is warning all PUV operators in the event of any accident involving your unit, and if the initial findings would lead or prove that you are at fault, the board will issue a preventive suspension order on your franchise.
Meanwhile, the remains of 18 victims in the Agoo, La Union mishap are on public viewing at the Town Plaza in San Jose Sur. Bawang La Union Mayor Eulogio Clarence Martin de Guzman III says they have already extended assistance to the families of the victims.
From the funeral expenses, and then yung burial expenses nila, covered na rin, and then yung medical expenses nila, covered na rin. Even the DOH kanina, tumawag sila sa amin na yung mga nasa ITRMC, yung pasyente na nandun ngayon at saka yung mga nadala doon, sagot na ng DOH yung mga gastusin doon.
The Agoo PNP now has the LGU CCTV footage of the accident in their possession. The PNP says the CCTV footage will be a big help in their investigation.
So hopefully sana nahagip niya yun para kung makita man natin, makatulong yun sa ating investigation.
Joan Nano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Next on Y News. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council begins assessment in storm-hit areas, starts probe on the unusual high number of storm casualties. The Department of Social Welfare and Development calls on additional volunteers for repacking of relief goods. And a total of 800 temporary shelters now officially turned over to residents affected by Marawi siege. Y News will be right back.
The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council continues to conduct an assessment of the areas badly hit by Tropical Storm Vinta. The NDRRMC says it is unacceptable that the recent storm left a large number of casualties. Leia Ilagan will tell us why.
NDRRMC spokesperson Romina Marasigan laments the high death toll due to the typhoon. Despite the constant reminder and preparations made, the government is unacceptable. The National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, or NDRRMC, deployed an assessment team to areas hit by Typhoon Vinta. The group is tasked to gather information regarding those affected by the typhoon. The death toll due to the typhoon is still at 164, while 176 are still missing following the onslaught of Vinta in Mindanao. According to NDRRMC spokesperson Romina Marasigan, more than 23,000 families are still staying at 231 evacuation centers. The number of damaged houses is at 2,663. 1,654 of which are totally damaged and 1,009 are partially damaged. The government has already provided more than 12 million pesos worth of aid to the victims of the typhoon.
Hanggang sa kasalukuyan po nakataas pa rin ang ating red alert status dito sa ating operation center at tuloy ang pagbibigay natin ng ayuda sa ating mga kababayan.
The NDRRMC admits the high death toll due to the typhoon is unacceptable, noting the government even properly provided information and prepared early for the calamity. With this, the agency in favor of proposal to amend the law that would pave way for the creation of a new department which will have the sole task of responding to calamities and disasters.
Sa usapin ng disaster, one life lost is one too many. Hindi talaga po natin katanggap-tanggap kapag meron po tayong namamatay na nababalita kapag po dahil sa isang bagyo, dahil po sa mga pagguho ng lupa o anumang peligro na nagbabanta sa ating bansa. Puspusan ang ating mga paghahanda na ginagawa ng ating pamahalaan. And hopefully talaga makamit natin, sinasabi natin zero casualty.
Because of high numbers of death, the NDRRMC reminds the public anew to listen and follow warnings from the government about calamities and avoid accidents.
Mahalaga talaga yung pakikisa ng ating mga kababayan, lalo na sa panawagan ng evacuation. Kapag po ang isang pamilya ay hindi po nag-evacuate at tumaas na po ang tubig sa kanilang lugar, we are also putting the lives of our responders on the line to be able to save them or evacuate them.
Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
The National Resource Operations Center of the Social Welfare Development or DSWD calls for night duty volunteers. Mai Bermudez will tell us why.
The Department of Social Welfare and Development targets to produce 80,000 relief family food packs a day at their National Resource Operations Center in Pasay City. But according to the Social Welfare Agency, despite the positive responses, the number of volunteers are still not enough to repack goods, especially at night.
Depende po yan sa dating ng mga volunteers kung ma-hit natin yung ating minimithi na target na production ng family food packs.
Sophie Mendiola, the officer in charge of the Production Management Division, meantime assures that operation centers have system that ensures the quantity and quality of the goods that will reach the affected families.
Maasahan po nila na yung tulong po na hinahatid po ng aming departamento ng DSWD ay makakarating po sa pinakamabilis na paraan na alam naming gawin.
Each box contains 6 kilos of rice, 4 cans of sardines, 4 cans of corned beef, and 6 sachets of coffee, which are good for 2 to 3 days for every family.
Otherwise, kung may mga deviation po, maring kulang, ibig po sabihin nun, ipagbigay alam po dun sa mga kawani din po ng DSWD.
The DSWD also appealed to the recipients not to sell the goods they receive.
Kung malalaman lang ninyo po yung gaano yung effort o yung pagpapahalaga po namin, gaano po yung sinasakripisyo namin bawat araw, bawat gabi na nire-repack po namin yung inyong family food pack, ma-appreciate nyo po yung tulong na dumating sa inyo.
Mai Bermudez, UNTV News and Rescue, Pasay City.
China will offer assistance to the Philippines in the post-storm disaster relief and home reconstruction. Spokeswoman of the Chinese Foreign Ministry, Hua Chunying, made the remarks on Monday in response to a question about whether China will provide disaster relief assistance to the Philippines.
近日呢，我们看到菲律宾南部地区遭受了热带风暴天秤的袭击，造成了重大的人员伤亡和财产的损失。 习近平主席呢已经致电菲律宾总统杜特尔特，表示慰问。中方愿意为菲方救灾积极地提供力所能及的帮助。我们相信，在菲律宾政府的领导下呢，菲律宾灾区的人民一定能够尽快地战胜困难，重建家园。
Tropical storm Vinta, internationally named Tembin, heavily battered parts of Mindanao on Friday, triggering floods and mudslides in the region. The storm left more than 200 people dead, more than 150 others missing, and thousands of families homeless.
A hazard expert wants to know how the government disseminated the warning to areas affected by the tropical cyclones that hit the country this month. Here's why from Ray Pelayo.
Dr. Mahar Lagmay showed UNTV News one of the products of the Project NOAA, or the Nationwide Operational Assessment of Hazards. Its map already identifies areas prone to debris flow hazards. Lagmay is the director of the Project NOAA, which ended its term in the first quarter of 2017. A village in Tubod-Lanao del Norte can be seen in the map as among the areas prone to debris flow hazard. Lagmay insists that information provided by Project NOAA experts to the pre-disaster risk assessment meetings are essential, especially to forewarn areas prone to landslides and flash floods.
Ito yung barangay Dalama, no? Sa Tubod, na pag pinokus natin yung isang pula, yung tinamaan na barangay, ito yun, no? May mahigit 100 bahay dyan. Nasa pulan na sila. So kapag alam mo na umuulan, dapat masasabihan mo yon. Kung nasa NDRRMC ka, nakita mo yan, minomonitor mo, yan, tapos titignan mo yung mapa, tatawag ka na doon.
Lagmay regrets being excluded in PDRA meetings, which is being done before a tropical cyclone hit the country. He also highlighted a comparison in the number of casualties from the past years after Typhoon Yolanda. NDRRMC already recorded over 200 deaths from the recent tropical storm Vinta.
Hindi na siguro natin natatandaan itong mga bagyon to kasi very minimal if not zero casualties. Isama na natin yung bagyong Ferdy, Super Typhoon Ferdy, Super Typhoon Karen, Super Typhoon Lawin. No? Mababa ang mga casualties dito. No? Kasi siguro coincidental, pero maganda na isipin, no, na may malaking nagawa ang PIDRA.
NDRRMC spokesperson Mina Marasigan says the government is doing its very best to mitigate the impact of a tropical cyclone.
Lahat ng datos na nakuha natin sa Project NOAA ay nasa DOST na at yun ang ginagamit natin. Kasama yun sa mga ginagamit natin. Nagpalabas kami ng memorandum for forced evacuation identifying critical areas na merong very high susceptibility to landslide. Kasama ang Zamboanga del Norte, kasama ang Lanao del Norte doon.
But Lagmay believes warning should be disseminated down to the barangays projected to suffer the effects of the coming cyclone.
Sa tingin ko, mahirap magbigay ng general warning na probinsya. Na kung sinabihan mo lang buong probinsya ng Visayas at halos buong probinsya, mga probinsya ng Mindanao, kapag paulit-ulit mong ginagawa yon at hindi nangyayari yung hazard, matatabangan na yung mga tao sa susunod na ikaw ay magbigay ng abiso.
Project NOAA was adopted by the University of the Philippines. It is now housed at UP NOAA Center, where Dr. Lagmay serves as the director. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
800 families affected by the Marawi siege will welcome the new year with new homes. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Before 2017 ends, families in Marawi City who are staying in evacuation centers for almost 7 months because of the Marawi siege will be able to transfer to their temporary shelters. A turnover ceremony was led by the National Housing Authority of 500 temporary shelters in Barangay Sagong Songan, Marawi City. The NHA says 250 units are ready for occupancy before 2017 ends, while the other 250 units can be occupied on January 7, 2018.
Yung pong bahay, kumpleto na. May kuryente, merong linya ng tubig. Pero yung kuryente, i-connect pa natin sa main line, saka yung tubig, i-connect pa rin sa main line. So that's why we are delaying the actual occupancy of those houses.
So ang ating inuna po ay yung talagang may matinding pangangailangan, especially yung mga
nasa evacuation centers at saka yung mga nag-rent sa labas.
Another 300 temporary shelters from the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation or PAGCOR were also turned over today in Matungao, Lanao del Norte. The government is targeting to provide a total of 1,170 temporary shelters by February 2018. Aside from temporary shelters, various government agencies such as the Department of Trade and Industry, Agriculture and Social Welfare and Development give toolkits, pre-employment assistance fund, equipment for farming and fishing, and other means of earning for the affected residents.
Nagawa pa kami ng special program na magbibigay naman ng financing na interest-free up to 100,000 dun sa eligible na mga borrowers ng yung mga dating nasa negosyo na meron hong mga papeles na kaming hihingin para may proof na dating nagnenegosyo at kailangan ng pang-umpisa ulit.
The government plans to subsidize the electric bills of the residents for 6 months. Residents will also continue to receive food stubs from the government. Meanwhile, government military forces are still in Marawi City to secure the place and help in the rehabilitation and reconstruction of the city. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The number of confirmed deaths due to a fire that broke out at the NCC Mall in Davao City last Saturday has already reached 38. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Authorities recovered the cadaver of NCC Mall employee Malvin Gaa last night. Gaa adds to the death toll from the massive fire that engulfed the mall in Davao City last Saturday. Gaa was a mall safety officer and part of the emergency action team who assisted in the escape of 83 agents of the US-based Call Center Service System International or SSI and 700 mall personnel and visitors. Meanwhile, forensic experts are still determining who among Mico de Mafelis or Alexandra Moreno was the cadaver recovered from the mall.
38 atong missing. 37 ang recovered bodies. 36 ang identified. 1 is still unidentified. So there are 2 persons in the missing list. Ang isa ka family, si De Mafiles, nagpa-DNA na sila and they said they really cannot be sure so they will wait for the DNA.
The management of the NCC Mall and the call center company SSI vowed to provide cash assistance and scholarships for the relatives of the individual who died in the fire. Meanwhile, the city mayor notes the investigation into the cause of the massive fire might take longer.
So I guess best if we wait for the official report coming from the task force because the national office of the Bureau of Fire will take over. It will be an interagency investigation. Other offices of the government will be part of the task force, including the city government of Davao.
With the help of the National Bureau of Fire Protection and other government agencies, the task force that will be created will be tasked to submit a report regarding the accident. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
In other news, the COMELEC has yet to set a 3-day deadline for the motion for reconsideration on Mayor Gia Gomez has to submit to the poll body in relation to a petition for recall elections in San Juan City. Here's why from Aiko Miguel.
The Commission on Elections or COMELEC upholds the petition for recall elections filed by supporters of former San Juan Vice Mayor Francis Zamora against the city's incumbent Mayor Gia Gomez. However, until now, the camp of Mayor Gia has yet to receive a copy of the decision of the poll body. COMELEC meanwhile clarifies that the 3-day deadline for the mayor's submission of a motion for reconsideration will begin once Gia receives the said ruling.
Wala pa kami natatanggap ng parang proof na na-serve sa kanya, hindi pa natin binibilangan ng araw. So, I think ang latest na alam natin dyan is that she was out of the country. So, we'll see what happens when the NBank resumes its session next week.
The said petition already has 30,000 signatures. However, Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito, the son of Mayor Gomez, claims San Juan City Representative Ronaldo Zamora and his son Francis are bribing the residents to sign the said petition. According to COMELEC, they have yet to receive any appeals or complaints from San Juan residents that they are being coerced to support the recall election petition of the former vice mayor.
Well, the signatures are affixed by people, di ba? And it's the people's choice kung pipirma sila o hindi. Eh mukhang wala naman akong nabalitaan na napilitan or whatever, no? But in general, COMELEC cannot really look into why a person signed unless may proof na kino-coerce sila.
COMELEC meanwhile assures that they are taking fair steps regarding the petition, especially since the right of the people is at stake.
Well, very important that you monitor the news and make sure na yung pinaniniwalaan nating balita ay yung tunay lamang, yung galing lang sa COMELEC. Nakikita natin in the past sa mga similar situations, may tendency na maglipa na ang misinformation. So, konting ingat lang sa mga botante ng San Juan. Make sure that you're getting the information straight from authorized sources.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte gives a new government position to former Customs Commissioner Nicanor Faeldon. Faeldon is appointed as the Deputy Administrator of the Office of the Civil Defense, or OCD. It can be recalled the former Customs Chief resigned from his post after he was implicated in the smuggling of 6.4 billion pesos worth of shabu from China. The Senate has detained Faeldon after he refused to attend the upper chamber of Congress's investigation into the said issue. Authorities arrested a suspected member of the New People's Army in Cebu. Here's why from Leslie Longboen.
The Police Regional Office, or PRO7, presented earlier to the media 26-year-old Jonathan Cotimar Lacadman, a suspected member of the New People's Army, or NPA. Authorities alleged he was involved in the Gihulngan ambush last July that left 4 policemen dead. Through a warrant of arrest, the Regional Public Safety Battalion of PRO7, with the help of the Dumanhug Police Station, was able to arrest Lacadman last Sunday in the village of Poblacion in Dumanhug, Cebu. The police have not recovered any firearms from the said suspect.
Masasabi namin, justice has been served sa ating mga kapulisan, particularly kay Superintendent Arpon, at nahuli natin yung isa sa mga nag-ambush sa kanila.
The police continue to conduct a manhunt operation against other NPA members involved in the ambush.
Ang kapulisan naman from the very start have been prepared sa possible atrocities that might be committed by the NPA. Naka-full alert pa rin tayo at yung mga station natin has been employing yung target hardening measures.
Authorities have yet to monitor any threats from the terrorist group. Leslie Longboen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Quezon City Police District Office Station 6 arrested a Korean national and a Filipino during a recent buy-bust operation in Quezon City. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
2 men allegedly involved in illegal drugs were not able to escape the arrest of operatives of the Anti-Drug Unit of the Quezon City Police District Office, or QCPD Station 6. The suspects were identified as 45-year-old John Taek-sang, a resident of Busan, South Korea, and 30-year-old Filipino Bobby Ortalia. According to Station 6 Commander Police Superintendent Rosel Cejas, they have received complaints about the group that allegedly supplies illegal drugs in Payatas and Barangay Old Balara in Quezon City.
Itong kasama niya lalaki, ito yung nagsiserve na parang interpreter niya kasi nga Korean national siya. So pag may transaction, ito yung lalaki yung kumakausap sa mga kliyente. At siya rin yung tumatanggap ng pera, at yung Korean naman yun ang nag-aabot ng droga.
The QCPD Station 6 chief also claims the suspects targeted minors. They were making use illegal drugs and bring to motel for sex.
At ang common na kanilang mga binibiktima ay mga minor de edad na kababaihan na usually dinadala nila sa mga budgeted motels dito sa area. Yun ang pang-offer nila, no? In exchange do sa panandaliang na aliw na hinahanap nila.
The Filipino suspect, on the other hand, denies the allegations, saying he just happened to pass by the area where he met the Korean national.
Papunta po ako sa kaibigan ko dyan sa Balara. Nakita ko po siya sa overpass.
Tapos?
Yung nilapitan ko lang, binati ko.
Oo.
Yun, nagulat ako, may dumating yung mga polis. Gumagamit po dati.
Oo.
Pero yung nagtulak, di po.
Do you sell drugs?
No, sir.
Authorities confiscated from the suspects 9 packs of suspected illegal drugs with a street value of 100,000 pesos. They also recovered 600 pesos worth of buy-bus money and several pieces of suspected party drugs. Police will temporarily detain the two at the Station 6. They will face charges for violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Bernard Daddies, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Two Batangueños will be on Wishcovery's hot seat this Saturday. Leslie Longboan will tell us why.
Performances of two Wishfuls from Batangas are up on Wish 1075 YouTube channel since Monday for Wishcovery's semi-final round. As of noon today, Carmela Ariola of Batangas City already earned 53,335 views. Meanwhile, Audrey Malaiba of Santo Tomas, Batangas got 35,698 views. The power viewing will end on Friday noon. This will comprise 15% of their score. On Saturday, it's time for Wishcovery reactors to assess the performances of the two Batangueños that would be the basis of the remaining 85% of their score. The semi-final episode will be uploaded on Wish YouTube channel on Saturday, 9 p.m. Leslie Longboan, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Those are the reasons behind the news, December 27, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm William Theo.
And I'm Darlene Basingan because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching.
Why News.